Hey, and welcome back to another HTML video. And this time we're going to actually see how a form control works. So in the last video, we explained how forms work. Then we had two form controls. We had a username and an I vote for. The username was a text form control, and the radio button was a radio button form control. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We start out with a form element, okay? That takes an action attribute. The action attribute, this is going to tell us where we're going to be redirected to when you hit the submit button. So after you hit the submit button, the server does something with information and it redirects you to another web page. This is the web page. Whatever is defined here is the web page it's going to take you to. We're not going to see this in an example because this is for HTML, not PHP, which is another which is a programming language, not a markup language, and that invokes logic, so it can do something with the information from the server. Don't have to worry about that much. You don't have to worry about that right now, okay? Just know that this is the web page we'll be redirected to after you hit the submit button. Okay, so we have a paragraph element with the username, which is really just a label. And then we have an input element. And this is important. So it takes two attributes, type and name. Type, that's the type of form control that you're going to have. In this case, we're going to be text so that we can type something in. And then the name attribute, that's where we have the name value pair that we said in step 2 of how forms work in the last video. This is what's going to go along with whatever we select or input in the form control. So it's going to be the name value pair. So in this case, it would be username, then lowercase, and then whatever value we have for the form control. Okay, so let's start coding. So first thing we need is doc type. Then we need an HTML element with an opening and closing tag. And I'm going to change this so that I get syntax highlighting. Then we need a head element, opening and closing tag. We need a title element, opening and closing tag. And let's call this form demo. Very original, like all the other ones I use. Then we need a body element so that we can display something onto the browser. So let's create a heading 1 element with an opening and closing tag. And let's just call this is an example of a text form control. All right. So let's start with coding the actual form. First thing we need is the form element, and we need we can't do anything right now, but we just need to tell the form after you hit submit that we need to be redirected to this web page. So just for now, it's just going to be this. And then we need a closing. We need the closing tag for the element. All right. Next thing is we need. You can use paragraph. Like it doesn't really matter what text element you use right here. But we just need an opening and closing. Well, I'm just going to use an opening and closing paragraph element. So we need the label, username, and then we need an empty tag. The input element is an empty tag. Okay, last time we saw this was when we worked on images. So we need two attributes for this empty input element. Okay, for this input element. We need the type attribute. In this case, we want a text form control, and we need to give it a name, and we're going to call this one username. You can really put whatever you want there for just simplicity's sake. This is a username field, so when we send it to the server, I want it to know that this was the username tied to the actual value that we'll be inputting. Okay, that was a lot. And then we're going to close it off, right? Because this is an empty tag. All right, so next thing we do is going to save this, and we're going to see what this looks like. Hopefully it works. So just name it whatever you want, formdemo.html, save it, and then you should get another file. It might not. You might have the Chrome icon, but you'll have something. If you hover over it, it'll say HTML document. Okay, so let's open it, and here it is. So we have our heading 1 tag in bold, bigger font size, and then we have the username label, and then we have our text field. So because we said that this is going to be a text form control, so you just put in whatever you wanted. I'm going to put in Tyler, and typically would hit submit, and then it will redirect you to the page that we denoted in the action attribute of the form element. Okay, and that's how you create a simple form control. Okay, let's do a quick recap. We were introduced to the form element. This is what you need to code to have forms on your web page. The action attribute is what you tell the form where you want to be redirected to after this form is submitted. The input element is used to create the form control, which is the same as a field that you'll see on the web page. In this case, we used username. The type attribute on the input element is what kind of form control it's going to be. Be like a checkbox, ready button, text, be password. There's several different kinds. And then the name attribute is what identifies that form control with the value that's selected or typed in. All right, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.